Hello, all. It's Vanessa. All right. So I just wanted to talk today about the adoption anniversary of my cat. I went to a no-kill shelter last year. I actually there's two in the area. One of them was notoriously like really bad about returning phone calls, and now they're okay. So that's good. So they've had actually a more online presence lately. So we adopted from Paws in New, oh my gosh, it's not new, it's Norwalk. Now I can't remember what Paws stands for, but it's Norwalk, Connecticut. They're no kill shelter. So we adopted a black cat. I love black cats. Her name was Lucy. We changed it to Spirit. And it's not because like I didn't want the name or anything. Like I would have been fine with the name if I felt that the cat um, liked the name, but it didn't seem like we were getting anywhere with her with that name. So we did change her name. It's not something that I would, I guess, normally do. So they kind of warned us when we adopted the cat that the cat might just be a swipey and bitey cat. And she was for a long time. She had been at the shelter for 3 years because she was an older cat. I think she was about 9 at the time. So now she's 10. And she seems to be possibly an October baby. Um, so um, so she was there for 3 years. They gave us very little information about her. They said that her previous owners had dropped her off with the intention of coming back and getting her, and then didn't. And then later, I found out that she had been in an environment with, I guess, domestic violence. So that really affected her, and we had to like overcome a lot with her on that. So she used to be a very violent cat, let me tell you. If I didn't think that she would change, then I would have probably brought her back and been like, no. But she did change over time. And like every month, I saw a different change in this cat. And I can say now we do not have a murder floof. We have a cat. We have a cat. And I even sent a picture of the cat Spirit on my lap to the owner of Paws and let her know, like everything's doing really well. I'm like, look at the cat, she's on my lap. And like I have plenty of pictures of this cat on my lap because the cat likes sitting on us, especially when we're on the couch, especially at night, especially when both my husband and I are home together. So yay. So she's a very intimidating cat, let me tell you. Tom did fine with her. He was just like, okay, like you get into my face. Sorry, there was a bug. If you get into my face or like you get a little like off, I'm going to growl at you and kind of chase you. And that kind of, he made his boundary known. She always let us know what her boundaries were, by just being like, no. So we did have warnings. So I had read up a lot about different techniques to help cats with any behavior that you wanted to eliminate. And one of the things that I read was don't use water. Don't use the water treatment anymore. Like it's passe. It doesn't work. Take the cat, put it somewhere else, and like kind of do the exclusionary stuff and like go with that. She liked that. You're supposed to like leave them in a place and close the door and be like, we would close the bedroom door, and it was like, do that for 20 minutes to, show them that they can't, continue to do what they're doing. She didn't care. She liked that stuff. So she's like, oh, you're out of my face right now? Cool. I don't have to give a crap. So, yeah. She would also like follow me to attack my legs. And she would, yeah, just do all types of things. Like, she hated when we snapped at her. She hated when we pointed at her. I one time was like, no, and she was like, what? And like, not like she really did that, but she was just like, and attacked my hand. So no, and trying to get her out of the room to have the, like exclusion, like punishment didn't work. So I did eventually have to go to using water to train her. And actually that worked. It worked really well. We rarely have to spray her anymore. The first time that it happened, she was like, "Ah!" and like ran away. And that she was like, okay, this is not acceptable anymore. I'm getting this. And every time, it was such a weird experience. Every time I'd be like, no, she would be like the sweetest cat ever. Like one time I came home a little bit late and she attacked my leg and I sprayed her. And like the next moment I was sitting on the couch, right? She's on my arm. She's like leaning up against me purring. And I'm just like, you are a weird cat. Why? But because she knew, she like had structure. She was like, okay, you didn't like that. I'm good. We're good. It was such a weird experience. Like, I don't know. So coming from a home with domestic violence, she didn't like me. She didn't like a lot of the things that I would do. And like, it's one of those things that it's almost like I wish she was a human so that she could be like, hey, when you do that, that reminds me of my trauma. Could you not? Instead of attacking me, but that's how she had to kind of express herself at that point. So me sitting on the bed with one foot on the floor, she would get really upset. That would be a trigger for her. It was the craziest thing. One time she got scared because my husband and my roommate were play fighting, just kind of being like, hey, stop that. And like, she got really scared. And I was like, hey, you're scaring the cat. They both stopped. They went over to her. They were like, everything's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. And she stopped. She stopped having an issue. So that's good. And yeah, I swear there were a lot of triggers for her. And I would just be like, oh my God, I can't stop, wearing flare pants because you have an issue. But the water treatment or the spray bottle did really work. And now, so we always knew that she was food motivated. She's also like, she loves catnip. So, we have been using both of those to help her kind of figure out, the only issue with the catnip is that when she smells catnip, especially if we put it on the carpet, that's where she will, scratch. So, we're very reluctant on where we put or very specific in where we put the catnip. I bought dental treats for her, so that she could just have that. And so she basically asked for them anytime, because I put them in the bathroom closet. Like anytime I'm in the bathroom, she's like, hey, by the way, could you get the treats there? All right. Did you even like take a little step over? Okay. Oh my God, I'm gonna get a treat. So like she like runs over there all the time, which is really cute. But it's only in the morning when I give her a treat that she meows, which I think is like so cute because she's like, I'm excited, that I don't know. That's the cutest thing ever. So I do have to say that there's a lot more licks and purrs instead of swipes and bites. And even when like I'm kind of like getting on her nerves, she's doing a lot better with that. And with Tom too, like she's doing a lot better with that. We bought her this like little kind of a tent type of thing. We've bought her a lot of toys, but we got her like a tent. It's like a dome with like a little post, and she ran around and was like happy for the whole day. It was like as if she like I feel like that was her adoption moment where there's like they really don't care about me. They really do care about me. She has not gone in that thing since, but it's it's the symbol of it that she's really excited for. So like I'm gonna keep that up for as long as she'll hide behind it, I guess. So that's really cool. I also made her beds. I bought a blanket over Christmas, and always had the intention of making beds out of it for her. And I did end up making 2 beds for her out of it, and just found I sew, so I kind of know what's going on. I found a what is that called? I found a tutorial online, which is like really cool. And again, one of those places that we can put the catnip to kind of motivate her. So that's good. Let's see. Yeah, so she's a lot more loving. Again, we have a cat now. We don't have a murder floof who's just stalking us. We did have to not allow her in the bedroom at night anymore, because she would start waking me up at 3 a.m, and she did that for 2 months. And she would stop, and then I'd finally get back to sleep, and she'd continue. So she knew exactly what she was doing. So we don't allow her in the bedroom anymore. There was a time where, like, around 6 o'clock in the morning, she'd start putting her paw underneath the door and scratching and like shaking the door. We did preventative measures about that. Now she's really good with just scratching at the door. Tom sprays her when she asks for food. That's what we take that as, when she asks for food too early, and when she wakes him up or wakes me up. So it does work, which is good. Yeah, I mean, I agreed with the logic behind not doing the spray bottle, but I think overall we really needed to find a way so that she wasn't attacking me all the time. And that was the way to do it. You know, if you don't have a crappy cat, if you don't have a murder floof in your house, like, then you're probably fine doing the exclusionary, but it was not going to work for her ever. Like, I think I gave it a good 7 months before I started like being like, no, you can't continue to attack me at all. She did do a pretty bad attack in December, but it's just one of those, like, I was able to get through it. Obviously, I was able to get through it because of my training, but I was very much not happy with the results of that. Obviously, I do have a little bit of a scar because, like, she went after my arm, like, really bad. She does still get possessive of things, like she'll get possessive of the bed, she'll get possessive of like some of the tables, like side tables we have around. So like my roommate calls it her hoe paw. She puts her little paw up, like, I'm gonna like, I could get you right now, but then she sometimes doesn't. I usually give her something to sniff so that it distracts her, and that totally works. It's like, oh, I think she's in a murdery mood. Okay, here you go. Here's a pen. Here, sniff that. And she's like, oh, yeah. And so, like, she used to really like standing in places that were very busy, just to kind of be like, I could attack you right now. And so handing her something, like putting something in her face for her to smell, really has helped her to not be very possessive of those areas where we're going to have to go by it anyway. Oh, there was something else I was about to say, and it was about how she's kind of calmed down after a while. Yeah, she's not like as possessive. Yeah, we don't have to do too much for her like anymore, to kind of train her. She knows she's very smart. She's really good about all of that. And yeah, so like it was tough at first, especially figuring out what food she would like, because she holds me personally responsible every